Hello my dear children of ninth standard. Today in this video we are going to study a poem from your Beehive book. The name of the poem is Rain on the Roof. Poem number 3 written by Coates Kinney. Now the poem Rain on the Roof talks about the poet's varied reactions to the sound of raindrops falling on the roof of his house. He sees that the sound of raindrops helps him fall asleep and gives him sweet dreams. He has memories of his loving mother who would put them to sleep. The poet is telling about memories he has of the rain. So let us begin the poem. Very first, I'll give you short introduction about the author, Coates Kinney. Coates Kinney was an American lawyer, politician, journalist, and poet who wrote Rain on the Roof. He born on 24th November 1826 in Penn, New York, United States. He died on 25th January 1904 in Ohio, United States. So, let us begin the poem. I'll read the stanza and I'll explain you. In the very first stanza, the poet is telling that when the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears, what a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. So, in the first stanza, the poet is saying that when the humid shadows hover. Now, humid means moisture and shadows means dark. Okay, dark clouds. So, here humid and hover means to move around. So, here dark clouds. Humid shadows hover means the dark clouds which are moisture laden are full of water and are about to bring rain. When such clouds hover means moves around in the sky over all the starry spheres. Starry spheres refers to the sky which is full of stars. Sky which is full of stars. Further, poet says that the sad darkness of the night, which seem like tears falling from the sky, means the raindrops which are falling from the sky. The poet is comparing raindrops with tears, which is falling from the sky. Further, he says that it is true. Happiness, or we can say blessings, to lie on the bed in his cottage chamber means bedroom, and to listen to the patter means the sound made by raindrops which are falling on the roof. Further, in second stanza, poet says that every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start, and 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof, as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. So here tinkle means sound which is made by raindrops, and shingles means wooden tiles which is used on the roof. Echo means repeated sound. So, in second stanza, the poet is expressing his feelings. He says that when he hears the raindrops falling on the roof, he says that every tinkle sound on the shingles, on the wooden tiles used on the roof, he says that the sound of the rain drops repeats in his heart. And with this, thousands of fanciful dreams comes into his mind. He recollects many memories of the past which come back into his mind as dreams. Thousands of memories of the past starts weaving into his mind when he listens to the patter, to the sound of the raindrops upon the roof. In third stanza, the poet says that now in memory comes my mother as she used in years agone to regard the darling dreamers era she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I list to this refrain which is played upon the shingles by the patter rain. So here agone means past, era means before, and dawn means early morning. Refrain means the repeated part of song, or we can say a poem. Here the sound of rains we can say. So in third stanza, the poet says that as many memories of the past comes into his mind, he says that he dreams of his mother. So it is the memory of his mother who is no longer alive. She used to love him and his siblings a lot. For her, he was her darling. She would let him and his siblings sleep till daybreak, or we can say early morning, and have sweet dreams. Further, poet says that he can still feel that his mother is looking at him as he listens to the song made by the raindrops falling on the rooftop of his room. So whenever he hears the sound made by raindrops, it brings back memories of the past and of his mother. So with this we come to an end of the poem. Now we'll see the literary devices which has been used in this poem. So very first we'll see rhyme scheme. So in stanza 1, see the every sentence, okay, every line, last word you have to see. So see, first line, last word is hover. So we'll name it as A. Second line, last word is spear. So we'll name it as B. Third line, last word is darkness. So sound is coming, darkness. So we'll name it as C. Fourth line, last word is tears. Now see here, tears is rhyming with second line, last word spear. So sound is coming in both the lines. So again we'll name it as B. After that, fifth line, last word is pillow. So we'll name it as D. Sixth line, last word is bed. Again different sound is coming, the sound, so we'll name it as E. Seventh line, last word is patter. Raw sound is coming, different sound, so we'll name it as F. Again see last line, overhead. Now see here, overhead, the sound is coming, which is similar to the sixth line, last word bed. In both the lines, last word if you will see, then the sound is coming, so again we'll name it as E. So with this, in the first stanza, our rhyme scheme became A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. Like same way, if you will see in all the stanzas, in stanza 2 and in stanza 3, the same rhyme scheme has been used. We'll see in second stanza, first line, last word is shingles. So we'll name it as A. Second line, last word is heart. So we'll name it as B. Third line, last word is fences. Now see here, we'll name it as C, different sound. Fourth line, last word is start. So here see, start is getting rhyme with second line, last word heart. So again we'll name it as B. Fifth line, last word is recollections. So we'll name it as D. Sixth line, last word is woof. So we'll name it as E. First sound is coming. Seventh line, last word is F. So different last word is patter. So we'll name it as F. Again see, eighth line, last word is roof. Now see here, roof is getting rhyme with sixth line, last word woof. In both the lines, if you will see the last word, fur sound is coming. Woof, roof. So again we'll name it as E. So again our rhyme scheme became A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. In same way in stanza 3, mother. First line, last word, we'll name it as A. Second line, last word, agone, we'll name it as B. Third line, last word, dreamers, we'll name it as C. Fourth line, last word, dawn. Now here sir, fourth line is getting rhyme with second line, last word, agone, dawn. Na sound is coming, so we'll name it as B. Fifth line, last word, me. So we'll name it as D. Different sound. Sixth line, last word, refrain. So we'll name it as E. Seventh line, last word, shingles. Different sound, sound is coming. So we'll name it as F. Eighth line, last word, rain. So here see, rain is getting rhyme with sixth line, last word, refrain. So we'll name it as E. So with this, in the third stanza, also our rhyme scheme became A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. So students see, in all the three stanzas, our rhyme scheme is same. A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. Now we'll move on and we'll see the figures of speech which has been used in the poem. So in first stanza, see, the very first figure of speech which has been used is alliteration. Now what is the meaning of alliteration? So alliteration means repetition of consonant sound at the start of two or more consecutive words. Okay, repetition of consonant sound or consonant word will be there at the start of two or more consecutive words in the same line, we can say. So see here in line 1, when the humid shadows hovered. So humid, hover. In one single line, consonant sound is coming. Ha, humid, hover. So this type of figure of speech is known as alliteration. Again see in line 2, sentence is there, over all the starry spears. So here see, starry spears. So sound is coming. SS, starry spears. Again see in line 5, what a bliss to press the pillow. Now see, press pillow means, again see, two words, consonant sounds are coming. Press pillow. Per sound are coming. So this type of figure of speech is known as alliteration. Next figure of speech which has been used in this stanza is onomatopoeia. Now what is the meaning of onomatopoeia? So onomatopoeia is simple, is the use of sound words. So here see, in second last stanza, patter word is there. So patter is the use of sound words. It is the sound made by the raindrops which fall on the roof, and so this is the use of onomatopoeia. Okay, poet is using sound words. Again see, next figure of speech which has been used in this stanza is personification. Now what is the meaning of personification? So personification means giving human life quality to a non-living thing. So see in line 4, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. So here, weeping is an action made by the human, made by the living things. But here the melancholy darkness. Melancholy means sad. So the sad darkness is weeping. So here darkness has been personified. The poet is saying that darkness weeps in rainy tears. So poet is giving human quality to darkness. In the same way, next figure of speech which has been used in this stanza is transferred epithet. Now, transferred epithet means transfer of adjective. Okay, in this there is a use of adjective with a noun, but that adjective is not for that noun, it refers some other noun. So here see in line 3, and the melancholy darkness. So here noun is darkness, and with that darkness adjective melancholy has been used, but here the reality is that melancholy refers for the people, okay, for the people who are sad, unhappy during night. So melancholy does not mean that the darkness is melancholy, the darkness is sad, but it refers to the people who are melancholy, who are sad. So this is the use of transferred epithet. In same way, we'll see the figures of speech which has been used in stanza 2. So again, if you will see in stanza 2, in line 4, into busy being start. Now see here, busy being. Two consonant words are there, or we can say consonant sound is coming. Busy being in the start of words. So this type of figure of speech is known as alliteration. In same way, see in line 6. In line 6, word is there, their threads. See, weave their air threads into woof. So the sound is there, their threads, and the is consonant. So consonant sound is coming. So this type of figure of speech is known as alliteration. In same way, see in line 8, in last line, of the rain upon the roof. Rain, roof. Two consonant words are there, and we can say that consonant sounds are coming. Rain, roof. So this type of figure of speech is known as alliteration. In same way, next figure of speech which has been used in second stanza is onomatopoeia. So onomatopoeia means, I have told you that it is the use of sound words. So here see tinkle and patter. Okay, two words are used. Tinkle, in the first line you will see tinkle, and again you will see in the second last line patter words are used. So tinkle and patter, these are the sound words poet is using as the sounds of raindrops. So this is the use of onomatopoeia. Next figure of speech which has been used in this poem is personification. So personification means giving human quality to non-human. So in line 3 and 4, see, and their melancholy thousands recollection weave their air threads into woof. So here recollection means memories of the past. So when poet says that these recollections weave their air threads into woof, it seems that they are weaving. They are weaving something like you weave clothes on the loom. So the memories, the recollection has been personified. The action that they are doing is done by living thing. Now next figure of speech which has been used in this poem is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet means transfer of adjective. So here when the poet says dreamy fancies in the third line, and 1,000 dreamy fancies. So here fancies are not actually dreamy, but the people are dreamy who dream such dreams, or we can say the poet is dreaming. Okay, so here this adjective dreamy does not refers to the fancies, but it refers to the poet who is dreaming, or we can say the people who are dreaming. In same way, we'll see in the third stanza the figures of speech which has been used. So see, in the third stanza, very first figure of speech which has been used is, you can see in line 1, now in memory comes my mother. Memory, mother. Ma sound is coming. Ma, and M is consonant. So consonant sound is coming. So we can say that this type of figure of speech is known as simple alliteration. In same way, in line 3, to regard the darling dreamers. Darling dreamers. Da sound is coming, or we can say da. Consonant sound is coming in the start. So alliteration. In same way, next figure of speech which has been used in this poem is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia means use of sound words. So here patter word is used which denotes the sound of raindrops. So the rhyme scheme which has been used throughout the poem is A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E. And the figures of speech which has been used is in stanza 1, alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification and transferred epithet. In same way, in stanza 2, the figures of speech which has been used is alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification and transferred epithet. In stanza 3, alliteration and onomatopoeia. So with this we come to an end of the poem. Thank you.